Welcome everybody to a race briefing online for the Adidas Infinite Trials World Championship 2019. My name is Mike Hamel, I'm your race director. In about 1 week, you're going to be standing with more than 200 teams out of 45 different nations around the world on the start line of the 2019 Adidas Infinite Trials. To make your life easier and our life easier as well, I thought it's a good idea to have a race briefing online prior to the event, covering most of the important stuff, and then we can concentrate on the race briefing on Friday, just on the course, dangerous part on the course, weather situations, mandatory equipment. So give me a couple of minutes to run you through the whole race briefing for 2019. Starting with the schedule, I brought you a little bit of a schedule that you understand what's going to happen on which day. So on Thursday, the home of Adidas Terex is open. It's going to be a great expo where you can chill out, where you have drinks, where you can eat. Also can take part in a couple of panel talks brought to you by the Adidas runners. And then from 12 o'clock until 5 o'clock in the afternoon, the race office will be open. And also we're going to change the mandatory equipment check from the race morning also 2 days prior. So when you go for the registration, you already can check your equipment, your mandatory equipment, bring it there, and we're going to mark it. So race briefing for the Prologue will be right on the start line, 15 minutes prior to the event. 6 o'clock the start for the Prologue of Adidas Infinite Trials, together with more than 200 athletes racing the 15K run. And then at 8 o'clock we're going to celebrate the first three in the women and the men's category racing the Prologue. Friday, the home of Adidas Terex is going to be open again from 10 to 10 o'clock. 11 to 2, we have our athletes branch at the home of Adidas Terex. Race office will be open again for equipment check. And then we're starting our race briefings for the Infinite Trials race at 2 o'clock in the afternoon at the Kursaal for the German folks, and 3 o'clock race briefing for all English-speaking competitors. Race distribution will be starting right after we've been finishing the German race briefing down in the race office. Saturday, early morning, 3 o'clock until 4 o'clock warm up, and the start area will be open for you guys. 4 o'clock until 5 we'll have the pursuit start for Adidas Infinite Trials World Championship, where we're coming closer in a couple of minutes. 6 until 1, the Athletes Garden will be open. 7 until midnight, the Adidas Reload Center in the Alpentunnel will be open as well. And once again, the home of Adidas Terex is open. 9 o'clock until 1 o'clock, we're going to celebrate the champions, bring you the winner on stage, and also cheering on all competitors who are still out on the course and finishing in that great arena. 1 o'clock on Saturday until almost the Sunday morning, we have the cutoff at the finish line at the Alpenarena in Bad Hofgastein. Sunday is going to be a relaxing or recovery day. We like to invite you with the Adidas runners and the cable car of Gastein Valley to join us on the mountain of Schlossalm. There will be a brunch serving you a very nice Kaiserschmarrn. There's also treat your feet if your feet are still sore. And also we like to invite you for another visit in the thermal spa in the Alpentunnel, where you can already relax 3 hours after the race. So that covers all our schedules so far. In terms of venues, we are in the heart of Hofgastein, which is the second village in the Gastein Valley. So when you're coming into the village, you have Dorfgastein first, then Bad Hofgastein second, and Bad Gastein third, and then also Sportgastein, which is actually not a village, but it's a very nice ski resort in the wintertime. To get you familiar with our venues, I brought you a little map. And here we go. This is your start and finish area in the Alpenarena. Where we have the start and also the transition area. Right above, there's the Kursaal, which is a fantastic hall where we have all the race briefings. There's also the location of the media office and the race organization, including the operations room. In the arena, we also have the Athletes Garden 1, and the Athletes Garden 1 is your athlete garden right after the finish line. Quick support on food and drinks, a chill out area before you heading down into Athletes Garden number 2, where we have a carbo loading pasta buffet, where you have compact service for electrostimulation, and muscle recovery. Also, right in that building, there will be the Adidas Reload Center. On the opposite side, you have the registration in the race office, and on that fantastic place, with a beautiful mountain surrounding, this is your home of Adidas Terex, which is our expo area. And here we go. This is your place where we're celebrating the athletes brunch on Friday. Race courses, as I mentioned before, this is the Gastein Valley is quite a little bit of a long valley. Down here is Dorfgastein, as I mentioned, and you have Hofgastein down here. Then Bad Gastein, very famous for their waterfalls here. And at the very end, we are down here at Sportgastein. We have 3 loops and 1 prologue course. Here's your map of the prologue course, which starts and finishes in the Alpen Arena in Bad Hofgastein. Loop number 1 covers the Gamsker Kogel area. And the Gamsker Kogel is Europe's highest grass mountain. You're going to experience this, a fantastic, beautiful view. And I'm 100% sure when you're racing this one on Saturday morning and the weather forecast looks nice at the moment, you're going to expect a fantastic and spectacular sunrise when you're running on that ridge. Loop number 2, our longest course, covering the area of Bad Gastein, as I mentioned, very famous for the waterfalls, also with the area of Graukogel, a really high alpine terrain, and then also the long ridge coming from the Bockatsee, moving over the Zittauer Tisch to Stubner Kogel down to Hofgastein. And then your loop number 3 in the Dorfgastein area, also beautiful mountain ridges and a fantastic hotspot in Dorfgastein as well. So this covers almost our race course. Here's your vertical profile on the 3 loops. We have also a novelty this year. We're going to provide you for each of the races a vertical profile tattoo, which you can put on your arm, and then you have all the details where you see the profile, where you see where is an aid station with the distances between the aid stations. So this is your vertical profile. We're communicating 127 Ks and 7,800, but it may differ. Also, it depends on what kind of watch you're using. But we're going to give you the exact data on the race briefing on Friday. Course marking for sure. We have a couple of different signages. It's flags, signs, barrier tape, marking spray, warning signs, and LED lights for the night. We have a color concept. So everything which is lavender is for the prologue. Everything is yellow. It's going to be course marking for the World Championship. Signage on course. This is our course signs. And I put them in different direction that you can understand. Where always the arrow is pointing, that is your direction. On the right-hand side, you have also the flag. Various, as I mentioned before, yellow is the color for the World Championship race. Here's a couple of photos, how we use them. The flags, we have long poles, we have short poles. We have some night reflecting tape, which we're putting into trees and branches, and also the yellow-black barrier tape being fixed on branches and trees or on fences. Marking spray, it's going to be yellow, where you can see which we're putting on the ground when it's necessary, marking different or dangerous points or difficult points on the course as well. And then we have signage. Signage is really important, and we like you guys to respect them really. A stop sign means stops, and this is, for example, the crossing on the state road on loop number 2, which is a really high frequently used state road, and you need to stop there because the car's not going to stop there. There are going to be safety personnel, there are going to be course marshals as well, but if you ever see a sign which says stop, then you need to stop. Attention means there is something coming along. For example, this could be a danger. This is like a stream crossing where you have to go through water. This is oncoming traffic, for example. If you're on a street and you have traffic from the back and the front, this is a crossing on the street, which we're going to use. This is a start and an end of selection. This means there's a high risk of falling. Also, we're marking 250 meters prior to an aid station. This is your drinks only station. This is your fully equipped aid station, and this is also a sign where you can drop off garbage. Timing will be always like 25 minutes ahead, 25 meters ahead. So what is really important for us is we want to change the race, and this means the Adidas Infinite Trails race is based on a sustainable event concept, and for us it's really important to reduce, to reuse, and to recycle. We want to leave a zero footprint on that valley. Everything which we can source local, we do. We have a waste separation and disposal concept, and we'd like you guys also to respect us and help us to fulfill our goals. Adidas is bringing a new silicone cup, which is affordable one. It's only 10 grams light, and this one has a big impact. It has been tested on the Berlin Marathon races and on a couple of other races. And this is the cup you're going to get in your start package as well. We're going to have extra ones, especially for the Prologue, which you can just throw into a net and we collect them. Aid stations, really important. Every time, like a first aid station on each loop is the drinks only. All further aid stations offer a full service, including drinks, food, and power bar sports nutrition. This is how our aid station look like. We're running the color concept on the aid station that you always know exactly when you approach an aid station what to expect. And this means we have separate tables with color codes, and it depends on the running direction. Like the upper right picture is always like blue is always the water brought you by Steiner, yellow is the power bar sports nutrition, green is food, and red is additional drinks like Coke, tea, or soup. This concept we're running on all aid stations the same. So every time you're coming towards an aid station, you're going to hit the water first. Next to it going to be power bar sports nutrition, and then food, and then drinks again. What we do provide on an aid station is Steiner water, which we still water, power bar isoactive, and Coke. In terms of the sports nutrition, it's going to be power bar sports nutrition. We're serving you energized bars, power gel shots as well, protein bars and whey bars, which we also offer in the athlete's garden after crossing the finish. Fruit, apples, oranges, bananas, and watermelon, and also some sweet and salty snacks, manna waffles, really famous in Austria, muffins, peanuts, mini pretzels, and chocolate drops. As I told you, there is a garbage separation at the aid station. We want you to separate your garbage as well into bio-waste, residual waste, and also we're collecting composite plastic materials and cans. Also, our aid stations serve as a special needs station. So if you want to support your team members or your team, you can do this. It's 50 meters prior and after an aid station. And this is where you can hand over special needs like food, drinks, as well also clothing. But you're not allowed to change anything in terms of the mandatory equipment which you haven't brought in your backpack so far. Emergency concept, important. If you withdraw from the race, please call the general emergency number. And we have an emergency number. It's in the Austrian network, which is 0664 5848 700, a very easy number to remind, 0664 5848 700. Also, if you have forgotten it, and my recommendation is get it into your mobile phone right now, that you have it always handy with you. We have written it on the flip side of your bib. So on the top and on the bottom, there is also the general emergency number. If you have to withdraw from the race or you're not being able to finish, call that number. We do the medical clarification. We're making the decision what we're going to do, and then you're getting the assistance of the did not finish team if it is necessary, or we're calling rescue or mountain rescue. The rescue system is based on the Red Cross, mountain rescue team, a medical team, and a helicopter as standby. And right now, let's go into the race procedure. You're coming in and checking into the Alpen Arena for the Prologue as well for the Infinite Trails race. We have a security control in the beginning, and then you can drop off your clothes at the back drop off, and then don't forget to activate your tracking device by walking over the mat into the start area. This is where we can control your access, and your access is your wristband. So don't forget and put it on immediately. If you receive it, then it's on you and you can't forget it in your hotel room. Then this is your close back drop off area, which is down at the bottom of the athlete's garden. And then also after checking in mandatory equipment or some tests, you're gonna go over the mat, and this is where we're activating your tracking device. The bibs, please don't, please use them in the front. This is your front number. Don't make any modifications on the number. Don't cut any sponsors off. We have a color code, which is the purple one for the first loop, the yellow and the lavender on the third loop. Also, we have a bib number for your back. Once again, remember, we can't say it enough. This is your general emergency number with the bib flip side. Transponder, attach it to your leg. Don't put it into a backpack or somewhere else. It needs to be in a special height, and you put just like on your foot wrinkle. So, ready, guys, for the Prologue. The Prologue, it is a beautiful race course, and it's a good warm-up for a fantastic weekend of racing. And let's have a look on the course. We're leaving the Adidas Infinite Trails start and finish arena, making a nice loop through the village, going over Goldback, coming to our aid station on the Gabelhütte, and then it's always downhill. Aerodrom Stade and down back to Bad Hildesheim. 15 Ks and the 900 vertical meters is your race course for the Prologue and the 15K race. So one mass start, so there will be only one start time, which will be 6 o'clock, 900 meters of vertical elevation, and one aid station, which we told you it's a full aid station after 7.5 Ks. Vertical profile, yeah, you can see just like the first 2 kilometers are in the city, in the village, doing a very nice loop, being cheered on many people. And then we're hitting the first hotspot at the Hotel Das Goldberg. Gabelhütte number 3 will be aid station and coming back to the hotspot. And then it's done, here in the finish. Race rules in general, we have no mandatory equipment for the Prologue. What's important, if you check in with poles, you must carry them until the loop is completed. Some important information, this is a question I'm always getting. If not all 3 team members crossing the finish line, the team is disqualified. That means when one of you guys is dropping out and is not making it to the finish, the team is disqualified. But the team members can still start as individuals as the following start times. Loop number 1 at 5 o'clock in the morning, loop number 2, 10 o'clock, and loop number 3 at 7 p.m. on the evening. So what's going to happen if you have a food poisoning, for example, on Friday to Saturday night? It's the same thing. We have to disqualify the team out of the team ranking, but the other one can still start to these start times 5, 10, and at 7 o'clock. All the informations are on the website on infinitetrails-worldchampionships.com. And as you know, everyone has signed a disclaimer, so I'm not going into detail into the race rules. I think if you're racing the World Championship race and coming to Infinite Trails and traveling the world, you probably have written it and have read it a couple of times. Award ceremony for the one who being the fastest, top 3 men, top 3 women, will be at 8 o'clock in the finish line arena. Catering, every athlete receives a complimentary meal at the home of Adidas Terex. And it's just very easy. Present your bib when you have taken part in the 15K run. And for you guys, you have your wristband with you. So let's go into Adidas Infinite Trails World Championship 2019. Hope everybody is excited. Most important things, yes, we have a mandatory equipment for the Adidas Infinite Trails World Championship race, which is based on a basic equipment. And we have 2 weather scenarios, which is the cold weather scenario and the hot weather scenario. So mandatory equipment check, we have a couple of slots where you can present your equipment prior to the start, that you don't have any hassle in the morning, but we're going to do random tests in the morning to check your equipment. Thursday during the registration between 12 and 5. Friday is the race office open between 12 and 5:30, and Saturday directly before the start. So what is in the mandatory equipment basic? It is a flask or a reservoir which is at least 0.5 liter. We recommend like 1 liter. It's going to be a running backpack or vest. You have to carry with you a waterproof jacket, long sleeve top and long pant, a headlamp, and the headlamp is a little bit different because it's mandatory for all competitors on loop number 1, and then it's optional on loop 2, but it's your own responsibility. So at 6 o'clock, for example, or at 5 o'clock at Valerie House, we're gonna have a mandatory headline. So if you don't have it with you, then you can't compete and you can't continue. So it is your responsibility. You have to think about what's going to be my race time. But for the top guys, we don't want to bother them with a headline. So it is necessary to have this one also at 5 o'clock at the start in the Alpen Arena if you're starting on loop number 3. But we're going to explain you this one especially at the race briefing on Friday. But it's mandatory for loop number 1 as we're starting in the dark in the morning. A whistle, which can be integrated into a running backpack, a vest as well. You don't have to have it separate with you. You can have a GPS device or a watch. Alternatively, the printed version of our route maps will be issuing during the race briefing. A mobile phone charged, switched on with the general emergency number saved, and it must work in Austria. That is really important because if you need to call somebody and you don't have the network coverage in Austria, it won't help you. Emergency concept, once again, get your number in your phone and then it's there. Emergency equipment, we also have made some adjustments to the emergency equipment, a little lighter one, but necessary is a rescue blanket, 2 compressors 10 by 10 centimeters or 4 by 4 inches, 2 gloves, 2 first aid dressing size M or 2 meter of an elastic adhesive bandage. Mandatory equipment for the cold. Right now we're not expecting a cold phase, but then it's going to be additional gloves and beanie, also a waterproof pant, insulating top long sleeve and insulating pant long. So this is your mandatory equipment for cold. Mandatory equipment hot, it's a cap and it's a carrying capacity for at least 1 liter of water. Guys, you are responsible to carry all time this mandatory equipment with you. We're going to do tests before the start. We're going to do tests after the finish line or on race course. And if you don't have it with you, you're risking a disqualification. So please help us. Same thing, race routes. If you check in with poles, you must carry them until the loop is completed. Right now, ready to start. The start area, which is in the beautiful arena, and it's right here. So there's some barricades and some fencing making your start position clear. For the starting order is based on the result of the prologue. The starting intervals are calculated based on the formula. And this is your 4 start corridors. And we're going to distribute the numbers after the prologue. That means first team in the prologue is racing number 1, second team 2, 3, third team 3, fourth team, and so on. And you're going to be lined up in corridors, which is marked with A, B, C, D. And you can see the numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, first row, 5, 6, 7, and then you have watches and clocks on the opposite side where you know exactly, okay, I have 1 minute and 37 seconds behind the leader, and then you're going to start after 1 minute and 37 seconds. Mixed zone is right here in front of our stage, as well close to your team buddies. The mixed zone is for the team partners, supporter, and media. And right now, let's talk about Loop number 1, which is a beautiful, and you know the concept of Adidas Infinite Trails is free loop, 3 different characters, 3 different distances, and this is actually our, if you want to call it, our half marathon. Racebriefing, then you go in over Schmalzstraße to the top of Gamska Kogel, where is your aid station, going down all the way to Poserhöhe, second aid station there, and then all the way back to Bad Wolfgang. 25 Ks, 900 meters of vertical and 3 aid stations, and remember, the first aid station on each course is drinks only. That is Racebriefing. Here is Gamska Kogel, and this is Poserhöhe on race course. There's a little bit a tricky section, which is called in the Planetzengraben. There was an avalanche and a landslide. So take a little bit of caution when you come into that part, but it's not a problem. Here's your vertical profile again, with your top aid stations on the top of Gamska Kogel, Poserhöhe, as well in the beginning on Racebriefing, just your drinks only. There's always the question about toilets, and at the on the race course, there's no mobile toilets, there's no toys, there's no Dixies, but there is toilets on Racebriefing, Gamska Kogel, and Poserhöhe, which are mountain huts anyway. Cutoff for loop number 1 is 10 o'clock, and this is also the latest start for loop number 2. Track your team partners, because you need to know when they're coming into transition. The live tracking and the live race map is provided on the Infinite Trails website. We will have some screens and iPads in the pre-starting area, and make your life easier just if you're using the QR code. Transition zone is behind the tracking mat, or in front of, where you hand over through body contact. So we're not taking a transponder to the next person. It's just like high five and you're ready to go. And how does that work? This is very easy. So you're as runner number 2, you're standing here, and L2, and you runner number 1 coming in, running into the transition area, high five, and off you go on course on loop number 2. And if you're finished, you're just enjoying yourself in the athlete's garden. What is important if you're racing on loop number 2, after a couple of 100 meters, you're going to see a big sign saying signage to loop 2, where you know exactly, okay, this is the direction where you have to go. Finish your shirt. You're going to get your finisher shirt when you return your transponder in the athlete's garden. You also have a fantastic athlete's garden chill out area, a quick stop for a refreshing close back collection. And then let's talk about loop number 2. Loop number 2 is not the longest course. You're going on the beautiful hiking path to Bad crossing the waterfalls, going to the highest point of the loop number 2 on Gamska on Graukogel, all the way down back to Böckstein, aid station there, and then the beautiful valley of Sportgestein. Bockatsee, Miesbichelscharte, a beautiful mountain ridge. Coming to Stubner Kogel, Angertal, the next aid station, and then the opposite way on the Prologue course, you know already from Thursday. Loop number 2, 60 Ks, roughly 3,800 vertical meters and 7 aid stations. Here is your vertical profile. Congress Center will be having drinks only. Then you're passing 2 times the middle station of the Graukogel Gondola station, 2 times the upper station, and then the Montan Museum in Böckstein, the Valerie-Haus in Sportgestein, Stubner Kogel upper station, Angertal, and the finish area at Bad Hofgastein. Toilets, Graukogel, Montan Museum, Valerie-Haus, and Stubner Kogel. These are the cutoffs for Loop 2. 7 o'clock at Valerie-Haus and Bad Hofgastein, also the latest start for Loop 3, and 10 o'clock at Stubner Kogel Upper Station. Transition, same procedure as we had it before. Loop runner number 2 coming in, handing over to runner number 3, and off you go on your race course. once again, there will be a crossing point. This is where you go in off to loop number 2. You will have your loop number 3 signing and giving you the direction. So loop number 3, ready to go? Here we go. Leaving Bad Hofgastein over the beautiful area of Fundner and Biberalm. Then it's up to the ridge. Highest point, Seebach Katzenkopf. Then down to Breaualm, Dorfer Himmel. All the way down to Dorfgastein, where a lot of people are going to cheer on you in the middle, and then making it a little bit more difficult. Last uphill to Lugau before you're coming down Bad Hofgastein and being ready for celebration, almost celebration. 40 Ks, marathon distance. We had on loop number 2 the ultra, 2,100 vertical meters, 5 aid stations on the race course. Fundnerheim, once again, always the first aid station on the loop is drinks only. Biberalm, Breaualm, Dorfgastein, train station, Bad Hofgastein, and the finish area in Bad Hofgastein. Toilets, Fundnerheim, Biberalm, Breaualm, Dorfgastein, always the mountain huts. And then we have 3 cutoffs on loop number 3, or 4 cutoffs actually. 8 o'clock Fundnerheim, 2100 Biberalm, 2200 Breaualm, and 2300 in Dorfgastein. Transition, and right now it's time to celebrate, guys. So you guys standing already here in line number 4, which is the finish loop, the 2 runners from loop number 1 and number 2 waiting for the buddy coming in, and then together you're going to go out on the course making that beautiful move through the arena and being on that finish loop. To find the finish loop, once again, a big sign showing you the way to the finish loop. And then it's less than a kilometer, being cheered on lots of spectators. And then it's time to enjoy. We want you to wear a race outfit and a bib, so please no streetwear. And then you're coming into the finish line, and we're gonna celebrate it. So when you're coming into the finish line, you know that way already. So you're making a round, and then it's the first time you are actually able to go and allowed to go for the finish line gate. So you can go either this way, or if you want to go into the mixed zone area where supporters and team members are still waiting for you guys, then you can do this as well. So in the finish line area, you have this Athletes Garden number 1, which is right after the finish, showing you here again, and then you have Athletes Garden 2 and the Reload Center located just 200 meters away. In the Athletes Garden, quick stop zone, close bags, pickup, race recovery, nutrition, non-alcoholic wheat beer, and finisher shirt. Remember, if you return your transponder, you're gonna get your finisher shirt. Alpentherme, Reload Center, and Athletes Garden. You get a complimentary 3 hours entry. When you're going into through the main entrance, they're going to be on your right hand side. They're going to be a desk, which is your reception desk for the Reload Center. Complimentary physiotherapy and massage service for athletes brought by adidas in cooperation with the Alpentherme. There's also the time to eat pasta and upload your carbohydrates again. Complex, Eric is waiting in the Complex Lounge for you to give you the best in terms of recovery. Award ceremony, let's celebrate. 9 o'clock, 2100. Top 3 teams of each category and the fastest men and women of loop number 1, 2, and 3 going to be celebrated together with our great announcers team and our DJs. So the last 4 hours on Saturday evening is going to be party all night long. And this is going to be the best time in the day where we bring in all that athletes who are still out on race course. Keep in mind, there could be severe weather conditions like cold, windy, foggy, rainfall and snowfall, 0-degree limit. And this is what we're monitoring since a couple of days right now. The weather forecast looks like a high pressure system. So there's nothing that we have to be worried about snow or cold or something like this, but it could be also the danger of thunderstorms, and we're going to monitor this. We have a map with a lot of alternative race course options. The red ones are your alternative race options. As I mentioned before, I can promise you, you're gonna race on the race course. We just have to make sure that nobody is in danger due to thunderstorms. But also the alternative race courses are beautiful race courses in the Gastein Valley. We're gonna do the announcement on which race course we're gonna run at 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock for the race briefings at the Kursat on Friday in German and English. And this is where we're going to tell you exactly what weather scenario we're racing, what race course we are racing, that you can prepare. Our communication is all last minute updates will be provided by race management via our communication platforms, which is an SMS service. And this is why it would be helpful to provide a correct phone number at the registration. Otherwise, we can't reach you. It's going to be social media channels and the website as well. Also, don't forget, you're getting an e-startup back, so we don't have any paperwork. It's on a website which going to send you out on that weekend. Redeem and enjoy. There's a lot of event vouchers, practical information. There's the race briefing once again. There's other goodies and discounts from our partners of Adidas Infinite Trials 2019. Share your experience. You guys are amazing on social, that what we have seen. We can't wait to get the world of trail running to Gastein 2019. The hashtags are Infinite Trails World Championship, like WCH, Adidas Infinite Trails, and Visit Gastein. All platforms are welcome. And right now, that's it. Hopefully, I have been able to give you some really important information. I wish you safe travels and looking forward to seeing you all at Adidas Infinite Trails 2019. My team is waiting for you guys, and we can't wait to kick this event off 2019. Safe travels, and see you in Gastein.